Alma Romo from Bitalet IA3. So I'm here to discuss about the Addie model. Addie model. Addie means analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation.
The first one is the analysis phase. The analysis phase of the Addie model serves as the investigative prelude that informs first of all whether a program of instruction is needed, and then if so, what outcomes should the program produce. In short, the analysis stage orients the entire pathway of the instructional design process, which ultimately leads to producing a program of instruction to resolve the problem. In analysis, they have a critical question analysis. Critical question analysis is a strategy development tool that consists of answering basic questions about the present direction and environment and actions that can be taken to achieve organizational objectives in the future. Four basic questions are typically addressed. What are the purposes and objectives of the organization? Where is the organization presently going? In what kind of environment does the organization now exist? What can be done to be better achieve organizational objectives in the future? The next is the design based model. This stage determines all goals to be used to gauge performance, various tests, subject matter, analysis, planning, and resources. In the design phase, that focus in on learning objectives, content, subject matter, analysis, exercise, lesson planning, assessment, instruments used, and media and selection. The approach in this phase should be systematic with a logical, orderly process of identification, development, and evaluation of plan strategies which target the attainment of the project's goal. It should follow a very specific set of rules, and each element of the instructional design plan must be executed with attention to detail. Being a stickler for the details is crucial to the success of the design stage. This systematic approach makes sure that everything falls within a rational and planned strategy. The one example is the concept mapping. Concept mapping or mind map that allows you to show several performance requirements known as branches. The example shows 4 branches to meet the business need or the objective. The third is the development phase. At this stage, you can begin to create the courses. You will be heavily guided by the prototype storyboards at this point. Each element of the course should be developed to match the design phase. The core of the content has already been decided. All you need to add is a level of detail and polish to the courses. This is done by adding graphics, choosing colors, and designing on fonts. To some, this may seem trivial, but it has a huge bearing on how engaging the course content. So, the development process should be interactive. Once you have a created course, you should test it to ensure these are the basic errors, grammar, spelling, syntax, and etc. Testing should also at the mechanics of the course. A key consideration at this stage is navigation. In development phase, we have creating the actual content that learners will receive throughout the course of instruction, creating storyboards of how content will be presented, building out exercises and other materials that students will use to aid in their learning, create e-learning materials if distance or online learning is involved, building the technological platforms that will be used, planning for and integrating all technology intended for inclusion in the training program. And we have also the implementation phase. Ad implementation is the phase in which learners actually receive the instruction and materials prepared for them throughout the previous 3 steps of the ADDIE model. As such, as is arguably the most important step because it is where the learning actually occurs. During the implementation phase, instructional designers hand off their materials to the instructors who will actually be teaching in the course. Before you do this, you will develop a training program to teach instructors how best to use the course materials, instruct them in the learning outcomes, facilitate their use of technology, and familiarize them with testing. In this way, you can bring the instructors up to speed on the materials to give them the best chance of transmitting them effectively. The last is the evaluation phase. During the evaluation phase is when the training program goes through in-depth review and testing. This stage allows the instructional designer to thoroughly and painstakingly evaluate each element of the course to ensure the learning outcomes are achieved. This stage measures the effectiveness of course and identifies growth areas to improve the learner's knowledge and skills.